Good morning, everyone. It's May 5th, 2019. I'm Eric. I'm here at Blacklist of News once again. More new AIPACs popping up. This comes from Philip Girardi, American Free Press. Or should we say Jew Free Press, or Israeli Free Press, or some shit like that. Now, what does Israel need so many lobbying groups for? And to what degree do they have control over our political system? Well, I would say that probably they have a great deal of control over our political system, and which is why they are the #1 lobbying group in the United States. Concern that Israel is losing its grip on U.S. politicians is breeding even more pro-Zionist lobby groups. New organizations dedicated to defending Israel are proliferating due to concerns that the American people are finally waking up to the fact that they have been getting ripped off by a vast Zionist conspiracy for the past 70 plus years. Ironically, it has become possible to while it has become possible to criticize Israel even in the mainstream media, the United States government itself has become more firmly in the grasp of the Israeli lobby, most recently manifested in bills passed by Congress pledging undying love and affection for the war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu and all of his works. This has been due in large part to the effective lobbying by the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, or AIPAC, which met in Washington in March and drew 18,000 of its supporters to both show up and lobby their congressmen. The congressional love affair with Israel has been accompanied by billions of dollars in U.S. taxpayer provided, dangled per annum, plus a de facto commitment to send American soldiers to fight and die for Israel, even if Netanyahu starts a war for no reason whatsoever, which he has. By one estimate, there are 600 groups operating in the United States with the objective of promoting Israel's interests. Now let me stop here for a moment. You see, I did this video just about 45 minutes ago. I don't see any of these political retards talking about how much control over our politicians these Zio fascists have. They run the gamut, politically speaking, include leftward-leaning organizations like J Street that aggressively support a two-state solution for Israel/Palestine, while at the same time ignoring the fact that Israel has expanded its settlement in such a fashion as to make a Palestinian state unrealizable. On the extreme right is a group founded in 2010 which calls itself the Emergency Committee for Israel, headed by none other than Bill Krister, former editor and now thankfully defunct Weekly Standard magazine. The ECI board included Rachel Abrams, wife of pardoned felon Elliot Abrams, who is currently seeking to destroy Venezuela. And these are all pals of your beloved Commander-in-Chief. ECI is largely inactive at the present time, but when it was launched, it claimed to be the most pro-Israel of all pro-Israel groups, which would be quite an achievement. It was most active in 2010 through 2014 when it ran full-page ads against liberal advocacy groups, attacked the Occupy Wall Street movement for being anti-Semitic, and criticized individual congressmen for not being sufficiently pro-Israel. In 2013, the group came out against the proposed appointment of Chuck Hagel as Secretary of Defense because he had once mildly criticized Israel. The recent controversy over comments critical of Israel and its lobby made by newly elected Rep. Ian Omar, I think that's how it's pronounced, has sparked a wave of pro-Israel activism in and around Congress. Now let me stop right there. Just because she is, this representative, Omar, is a moronic Muslim, does not mean she's not correct about Israel. She is 100% correct about them, even considering her biases. I don't like her. She is married to her brother and most likely brain damaged due to inbreeding. Let me see where that... At the end of January, a new political group was formed by several prominent veteran Democrats, alarmed by the party's drift from its long-standing alignment with Israel. The new group, which is calling itself the Democratic Majority for Israel, or DMI, will support Democratic Party candidates who stand unwaveringly with the Jewish state. The group, which is headed by Mark Mellman, a leading Democratic Party pollster, already has some substantial funding from the usual Jewish Democratic Party donors, and it is interested in assisting potential candidates who are unambiguously supportive of Israel because of shared values and its contribution as one of America's strongest allies, even though they attack the liberty, even though they are deeply involved with what happened on 9/11, even though their books talk about how much they hate Gentiles or Goyim and Christians and Jesus, even though, right? Which makes a lot of these Christians real stupid. Okay. The website promises we will work to maintain and strengthen support for Israel among Democratic leaders, including presidential and congressional candidates, as well as the grassroots of progressive movements. We are committed to doing so because we recognize that America's relationship with Israel, the sole democracy in the Middle East, is a mutually beneficial one based on shared values and shared interests. Oh, wait a minute. So Israel sends the taxpayers of America billions and billions of dollars? Is that how it's mutually beneficial? I'm trying to figure this one out. Exactly, precisely, how is it mutually beneficial for us to be involved with Israel? And of course, me saying this, I will be accused of being anti-Semitic. And another word that's lost its bite, right? Due to the fact that the common values and interests are difficult to identify, as they hardly exist, and Israel is neither an ally nor a democracy, it might be tough sledding to convince skeptics of actual value, the relationship for America, the actual value of the relationship for Americans. Excuse me. Instead, one subjects that group. Oh, God, I butchered that again. Man, why am I fucking up? Instead, one suspects that the group will rely on the usual appeals to tribal or religious sentiment and citations of the Holocaust, coupled with threats of anti-Semitism levied against those who question the formula. There we go. Yeah. I will be accused of being anti-Semite because I don't want billions and billions of our fucking money, taxpayer money, to be sent to these tyrants. Ironically enough, they behave just like the Nazis they claim to be victims of. I know. You anti-Semite! It's funny how Mike Adams and Jones and the rest of them will never mention this shit. In reality, DMI, which will be active in state primaries, will likely create incentives through development of a funding mechanism for potential candidates who are enthusiastic about Israel while withholding funds from those who are not. And there will be opposition to the snake oil DMI is selling, not only from Omar, she and Palestinian American Rashada Tlaib of Michigan both support the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement against Israel, and there are also a number of other new congressmen who will not hesitate to criticize Israel when it uses lethal force against Palestinian demonstrators. Now, it's one thing to use lethal force against the motherfuckers firing rockets and shit at your country, but it's a whole different matter to use that force against unarmed people, whether they be Jew, Muslim, Christian, or otherwise. So, you want to know one of our biggest problems in our country? It is the collusion between the government at all levels and Israel. Period. And this relationship is to the detriment of the people in the United States, including the idiot evangelicals and others who continuously suck the ass of the Jewish state. Anyway, till next time, kill the state before the state kills you.